Hey, welcome back. Alright. How long has it been? 4 years?
Maybe 12 decades?
Sure, let's go with that.
I'm mortal
Okay.
now.
So basically, we're back again to do this video on Disney Plus originals. So let's just get into it off of our list here. Okay. Start off with WandaVision. Oh yeah. Kind of fun thing that we're doing this when we haven't really watched any of the Marvel or Star Wars shows. Like, WandaVision's the only one we've watched fully.
And I didn't like it.
I gave WandaVision like a 5 because it starts out pretty good.
I made a rhyme with it.
I don't like the way it continues on. I don't really like Catherine Hahn as Agatha.
I don't like Catherine Hahn.
Do you have an opinion, or are you just gonna...
So, WandaVision...
Camera's there.
I know. So, WandaVision has a great start. The end is okay, I guess, but the start
end is anticlimactic, and it has one of the worst lines I think I've ever heard written in a movie or a show, where the one character, I forget her name, the one FBI agent says to Wanda that the town will never know how much she sacrificed for them. But keep in mind here, she enslaved a ton of people in a town who didn't want to be there. Like, they're just living their normal lives until one day she takes control over them and makes them do what she wants.
I'll never
How on earth is that?
So much.
So much, Wanda, so much.
Wanda, you nearly killed my child.
Moving on from WandaVision, we have The Mandalorian, which I bet a lot of people are gonna say is the best show or movie or anything on this list. Which, sure, I don't know, but I've never really watched The Mandalorian. I've seen some of it. I remember watching one episode with Jeremy Bulloch, who was the original Boba Fett, and nothing else.
Yeah,
so
I didn't watch it.
Can't say much on Mandalorian.
I like Star Wars, but they kind of just massacred the story.
Mm-hmm.
They were running around with machete and stabbing all the good storylines.
So, moving on, we have High School Musical, the series. Too many does. One of your favorites, right?
Just speak about it because you
want to talk.
Seen it.
So, the storyline is interesting, and it's about high schoolers who are in a play of High School Musical, because it's based in the school that High School Musical was filmed in, which doesn't make any sense.
It's just Disney being Disney, like, hey, this is recognizable. Let's take this thing that you guys loved. You remember, you loved this, remember? I remember that. I think you loved Sharpay's Fabulous Adventure. I think that was your favorite one, right? Yeah. Okay, so we're going to take this. We're going to do more of it, but it's not what you think it is. See, no. They're doing a play of High School Musical in the High School Musical show.
Wait, huh? So Disney's a company in that show.
Disney's a company?
So would that make this like a documentary-ish?
No, this is like the world of Darman, where Darman is God and everyone obeys him. But here it's just Disney.
Yeah.
So, okay. Moving on from High School Musical, we have Soul, which I think is probably the best thing on this list.
Yeah, that was good.
No.
Soul was a good movie.
Soul was
a good movie.
I'm looking at the list, I see something better.
No.
Soul is the best show here, movie
show.
here.
Best movie by far.
Best movie here.
So, not really too much to say about Soul. I feel like most people have
You
seen
have to
it
watch
by
it
now.
for yourselves if you haven't seen it. It's
good
really
story.
It's a great story.
Then moving on to another Star Wars show, Book of Boba Fett. I watched the first episode.
Did not.
Not watch any thing else of it. it was very anticlimactic and boring. Was what I thought, though. I guess that seemed like to be the impression most people had starting out. So I don't know.
They got Machete in it though from Spy Kids.
Oh, they got Danny Trejo. Man, I have to watch it. Moving on, we have the canceled all too soon Diary of a Future President,
Amazing, best show by far.
which is probably one of Disney's best original shows.
Yeah,
Uh,
very much recommend it.
Yes.
yeah. So I mean,
It's very good.
Diary of a Future President. Isn't the one guy? I think the mom's boyfriend's from Broken Lizard, right?
Yeah, he's from Broken Lizard.
Which is really weird considering
It's not
it's
a kid
like
company.
a kids show.
It's not really. Yeah.
Then
No kids are watching the Club Dread or Super
yeah.
Troopers.
I don't think. But moving on, we have the pretty terrible Doogie Howser remake. Doogie
Camila Loha.
Camille Loha MD.
Yeah.
That doesn't. I binged
Kamala.
like almost all of this series in one go.
Yeah.
It's kind of a good hate watch because a lot of the characters in it really are not that good. I'd say like the mom in particular. They have Magic Johnson in here for some reason too, which is weird because it's like,
Yeah.
how many children, other than me, know who Magic Johnson is? Like, I don't know. Like, you threw Magic Johnson into this show, and I feel like everyone watching is gonna be like, Mom, who's Magic Johnson?
And then they go on a
And then
rant.
their mom's like, I don't know who is Magic Johnson because he's not of relevance at all.
Yeah.
So, pretty weird choice to just throw him into the show. But, so. Then we have,
Great show.
what is next? Just Beyond, Disney's adaptation of, I believe, R.L. Stein.
Yes, it was around this time. I watched the one episode that reminded me of
Yeah, I think I
Marty
watched
from
two.
a criminally underrated
Kind
show.
of Grace is in it.
Yeah. It was basically the same story from a criminally underrated show called Creeped Out. It's like sort of like Goosebumps, but newer and better,
I
and
wouldn't say better.
more frightening.
Slightly better acting and
Yeah.
better quality. Same with Just Beyond, but at the same time, most of the stories are just bland.
Yeah.
There's nothing all that to Just Beyond. So then moving on, we have Monsters at Work, which is
Great.
I guess
I love it. I'm so excited for
the
season 2.
real sequel to Monsters Inc. For all you haters of Monsters University out there.
I do.
Mm.
It's not bad.
The
That's
worst
cool.
part is what they did to the theme. They did that thing dirty.
Yeah, they
They made it
made it a
acapella.
cappella, and the theme, and that is so bad.
I
in
mean,
acapella.
if you can
The-
do that
Acapella.
with your voice,
Acapella.
if you can do
Acapella.
something
Acapella.
good with your, if you can
Who
do
cares?
something nice with your voice, that's good. Don't butcher they massacred my
Don't
boy.
butcher monsters. The best part of this show, in my opinion, is Henry Winkler,
Yes, by
and the rest
far,
of the
and
show
a
is
long
pretty
shot.
bland and annoying. I think so.
Yeah, it's not very bland. It's just that the one character is very annoying. So when Henry Winkler's on screen, he's very entertaining to watch.
Mhm.
And they also unbanished the snow cone guy, and it was very cool. And I liked that episode a lot because he came back and now he works for the company selling snow cones.
Mhm. Nice.
As a big fan of that.
Boring. Next up, we have What If, which once again, watched one episode.
Boring. I don't like Marvel.
Pretty boring as well, I'd say. It wasn't fantastic.
It got a weird animation. Didn't like it.
Definitely a stylistic animation choice. And a pretty cool idea for a show, too, I would say.
Yeah.
But all in all, What If isn't. I think it could have been executed a bit better.
Maybe if we watch the first episode first.
Who cares?
What if?
It's called What If.
We
A show
watched
called What
the
If does not
shortest
mean.
episode.
A show called What If should not mean that you have to watch it all in order. Because it's what if this happened.
Here's a
So.
real quick thing. What if that show didn't exist? The
What
world
if Voltron
would
won?
not,
That's what the one that we
and
watched,
nothing
right?
would happen.
Yeah.
It's a boring show.
Ultron. And we have Weekend Family, which is a French
watch it.
show,
Dubbed into
simply
English.
dubbed into English.
It's dubbed
What?
terribly.
Of course, it's dubbed terribly. They're not speaking the same language. It's just gonna look the same.
They should just have it in English.
So, Weekend Family seems to
didn't
have a
watch
lot
it.
of hate for some reason, holding only a 5.9 out of 10
you
on
rated it a
IMDb.
6. That's
I gave it a
1
6,
point more.
but like,
It's not that good.
it's not good, but it's not like terrible. So, I don't know.
It's interesting because
I
some
didn't
of the
watch it.
characters have plot holes, definitely, and some of the episodes have plot holes.
Definitely.
That's how
I
plot
didn't
holes
watch
work.
it. I didn't watch it.
We have then we have prop culture. With,
Amazing! I love pop
where
culture.
a
Where's
lot of
season
people,
2?
I don't
Give
think
it
many
back.
people know about prop culture, so I'm going to explain real quick. Prop culture, it's basically this guy who's like a big fan of these Disney movies, so he went to go like find, of course, the props from those movies and stuff. There's episodes on like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and Nightmare Before Christmas, and Mary Poppins.
Yeah, those were good.
So.
And the
those are-
Muppets movie.
Yeah, so they have a ton of stuff like that. It's pretty interesting and pretty cool to watch. Unlike the next show on our list, Behind the
Bang.
Attraction.
Oh, that was good. That was so boring.
Behind the Attraction is about, of course, the
watched
rides at
the It's a
Disney,
Small
the making
World,
of the
wasn't it?
rides and stuff. I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't
Um,
help that we had coronavirus. when we
It did
watched
not
but
help.
at the same time, it's just
it.
boring.
Like, I'd rather watch the Funkland.
I'd much rather go on the ride than sit here and
Yes.
hear. So we took this and put this together, and now we have ride.
But the Funkland makes it interesting.
Animatronics.
Yeah,
This is how
like-
they're made.
Okay. Now for the worst show, and probably the worst thing ever on
Yeah.
Disney Plus,
I
The
think.
Big Fib,
Yes.
which is
It is.
horrendous.
It's completely staged, which is very
You
obvious.
can tell which child when the child wins.
Because if
They have a statue in the background if the child's gonna win.
Uh-huh.
Like every
We've seen
single
every
episode,
episode.
the child wins. For the most part, every episode that the child ends up winning and getting the answer on the show correct,
Is if
there's
the
a statue behind
them.
them, and that's their prize. If there is no statue, that kid's not gonna win. So what's with that? How do you tell a kid you hired for a show too, though? Hey, you're not gonna win. You're gonna be a loser on TV. You lose.
Excited?
L.
Excited!
You better
It's
be
hosted by, I think it's
lose.
hosted by Yvette Nicole Brown.
Yeah.
Right?
And
And
it's got that guy from Jumanji.
yeah, Clive from what's his name? Clive in this.
He's Clive in this show.
Okay,
don't
I don't
his
know.
I
name.
thought it was Claude.
It's like supposed to be a bit of an educational thing where two people claim to be an expert in one thing, and
Like-
and then they tell the kid about the stuff and have to convince that kid that they are the real expert. However, the expert can the non-expert and the real expert. Well, the non-expert lies about everything.
Yeah.
The real expert can also apparently lie because there was an episode where one of them definitely lied, and that one ended up being the real expert. So, what was with that? It's stupid and really makes me angry.
Don't watch it.
So we're moving on to a whole section of like short shows they have. Like, so we have in that we have Forky Asks a Question, Goofy and How to Stay at Home,
Forky was
Doug
good.
Days, and Olaf Presents. So Forky Asks a Question's basically
Good.
just more capitalizing to sell toys for Forky from Toy Story 4.
Okay, it was good.
But it had Jeff Garlin, so
What?
Featuring a couple episodes with like Mel Brooks and Carl Reiner, and actually I believe Carl Reiner's final performance before he died.
I love you. What? No.
So yeah, Forky Asks a Question is probably it's pretty good.
It is pretty good.
Then we
Yeah.
move on to Goofy and How to Stay at Home, which was like a short series made surprisingly in 2021 on how to stay at home. Of course,
It's in the
during
title.
COVID. It was funny and stuff, but at the same time, you made it in 2021, which doesn't really make
Yeah.
sense to me because
Maybe they were
it
working
like
on
later in
2020.
2021 too, I think.
No, I
So
thought it was December.
Let me see. Wait, if it's December in 2021, that's far too
That's
late.
what I meant.
Let me see
I
real quick.
meant-
When did this
Go,
premiere?
go.
August 2021.
August 11th.
That is far too late. Most people weren't even wearing masks by that time anymore. Like, so that would have made much more sense if you released it in 2020. So
Maybe it took a really long time for it to be animated.
No.
no. Then we have
I'm
Doug
trying to
Days.
think outside of the box
from-
here.
No. Then we have Doug Days, which
Good.
is a spin-off about Doug from Up, which is actually one of Ed Asner's final performances before he died. Doug Days was pretty funny too.
I have a
Oh.
joke
Yeah,
about
I like-
Squirrel getting dead.
You want to hear a
uh,
funny joke? It's about Squirrel getting dead.
So disappointing too, because it released just a little after Ed Asner's death. So especially disappointing once you liked it and you knew no more were coming because he died.
It still doesn't
so,
say it was canceled.
well, it's not coming back.
It's
so,
so it says that about the Buzz Lightyear show from the 1990s
yeah.
as well.
So then we have Olaf Presents, which is just another way to capitalize on make money off of a recognizable
It was
character.
okay.
This time Olaf, in which he reenacts some old Disney movies, and that's it. And by the way, when they say old, they mean like Lion King old, not fun and fancy free old. So,
Yeah.
the kind of I think I got gypped, Olaf. Back. And we have
Didn't even do
He
Great
did
Mouse.
Beauty and the Beast. That's not old, but
Noelle, which is I think one of Disney's first originals made for Disney Plus, which is it stars Anna Kendrick and Bill Hader.
It's bad.
It was very disappointing because from the trailers I thought it looked pretty good. When we
was
watched
good.
it and I really didn't like it.
it wasn't terrible.
Boring.
If you do a Christmas
bad.
movie in
It's basically
Phoenix,
about I don't know.
Just
Did
don't.
we talk about this in our Christmas movies
Yeah.
video? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so I probably explained what it's about there, so skip talking about
We're
it.
getting more watch time.
Yeah. Timmy Failure, Mistakes Were Made, another one that looked alright from the trailers and turned out to be god awful.
Hadwell Sean.
Timmy
Plus.
I hate the lead kid in
Yeah.
this show. In this movie. He's so annoying.
Yeah.
Timmy Failure, mistakes were made. That's his excuse every time he gets in trouble. Mistakes were made.
Mistakes were made. This movie.
Mistakes were made. You're the mistake, child.
Listen. If you are watching this, apologize.
For all of your mistakes.
Speaking of apologizing, we still have not gotten an apology for their Diary of a Wimpy Kid movie, which they
Not
couldn't
even a
even
movie.
crank out to over an hour.
It's 58 minutes.
It was an sad
Why not?
excuse. They did Diary of a Wimpy Kid dirty.
They completely,
Uh-huh.
for the most part, cut all of Roderick
Uh-huh.
from it
He's
too.
literally got
Roderick's, like, the best
2 minutes
character.
worth of scenes in it.
So what's with that?
And,
And it's pretty much just a shot-for-shot redo of the original movie.
except,
They didn't even add anything new to it.
except it follows more of the book's plot line.
Yeah. And then, later this year at some point, they're supposed to be releasing a sequel to this, Roderick Rules.
What,
oh
does
my
he-
god. If you ruin Roderick Rules, Disney.
Does he get 4 minutes of dialogue in this one?
Ah, impressive.
2 times. Next one.
Two
if there's a
times
next
the dialogue.
one, it'll be 8.
I can't even imagine
Double
that
it.
much Roger.
Time. It's insane. I've never seen this much Roderick in my life.
Oh wait, except that's not my Roger. Bring the not my Roderick back.
Brack?
Bring Roderick back. Bring him.
Alright. Another movie, Better Nate Than Never.
It's just bad. I don't have any
Wait a
words
minute,
to
what?
describe it.
Okay, so I'm looking at like I think it's Metascore here, or Metacritic or something, and like for
I thought it
some of
said
these other
EY.
movies,
E.
for like
or-
Noelle, it's 48 out of 100. Timmy Failure, 60 out of 100. Diary of a Wimpy
What?
Kid, 50 out of 100. Better Nate Than Never has 66,
It's
which
bad.
makes it like
Don't
the
watch it.
highest. But Better
It's
Nate Than
very
Never
bad.
is just a long, boring movie that is a musical.
At least.
Despite having like 1 or 2 musical numbers throughout, it's nearly 2-hour runtime, I think,
It's
right?
We watched it on
Not-
my birthday.
the length of Dear Evan Hansen.
Yeah.
Dear
this
Evan
is not
Hansen
like
was
Dear
laughably
Hansen.
bad.
You're moving on to a different subject. So Better Nate Than Never. Let me just remind you all, Lisa Kudrow is in it. There's your warning. Then we have the terrible Cheaper by the Dozen remake as well with Zach Braff.
Watch the first
amazing.
remake,
That's the guy in Scrubs.
and then
Yeah.
you can watch the second.
Just watch the first Steve Martin one. It's so much better than
Yeah.
this garbage.
Because it's Steve Martin.
I don't even
Yeah.
know how to describe this movie. Wait.
Steve Martin
And
can't
they-
be bad in anything.
One thing they tried to do for this
Don't quote me on
movie
that.
was they took it so that the Zach Braff who plays the dad, the couple, it's a mixed race couple, a mixed race family. So they try to show you what that's like by what people go through with assumptions and stuff like that, and they do it like so terribly. I
Yeah.
feel like they could not have handled it worse, in
Yeah.
my opinion. Like, honestly. And then the terrible ending, which just pretty much just goes for the Steve Martin ending as well, where
Guys,
the kid
it's-
runs away.
Except it's not even their kid.
They have 11 kids.
But
It's
Wait,
a
yeah,
cousin.
it's not even their kid.
It's not their kid. It's
Yeah, it's the
'cause-
stupid cousin who
'cause
runs away.
Because their aunt is his mom was in rehab, which is their aunt, so they had to take care of him, and then he's like, I don't want to be here.
I don't want to be here, I'm out. He's like 15 and he's running away from home.
Just like,
And
I just pictured you doing that.
I'm out. I don't want to be here anymore. Chippendale Rescue Rangers, which came out pretty recently. I think it's pretty good.
That was good.
It's a lot like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, made by The Lonely Island, though.
Yeah.
But they did it in a way so it's much more kid friendly than Roger Rabbit, which doesn't make sense considering it's The Lonely
It's
Island.
still good though.
It's good. However, I agree with the ending. You want Darkwing.
Yeah, we want
Darkwing.
ugly Sonic's on it. You see his teeth a lot.
Yep, that's the whole joke. That's probably my favorite part of the whole movie. Tim Robinson is Ugly Sonic. Alright, so then we have another god-awful special, Lego Star Wars Terrifying Tales. Like, Terrifying Tales? Where do I even begin with
I
this
don't know.
terrible movie?
Begin in the dumpster.
Yeah, it's like an anthology thing where they try to take a couple of different, like, scary stories and put them together to make sort of like just an anthology movie, as I said. But
Not right.
it's
It's
not
not a movie.
interesting. It's boring, and the plot lines are all incredibly mind-numbingly dumb,
I think they failed.
and I can't get through any of them. In
It's like
contrast to that, released around the same time, Muppets Haunted Mansion,
Now this
which I
is
really
good.
like.
Yeah.
They did a
Another-
movie.
Another one of Ed Asner's last productions as well, actually.
But the only thing
But,
is that the movies that they released around this time, like this and the Diary of a Wimpy Kid, are all under an hour.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
Lego Star Wars Terrifying Tales is 44 minutes, Diary of a Wimpy Kid 58, Muppets Haunted Mansion 52. Like, it feels like they're really just putting this out here to get a bit more watch time with something recognizable.
Yeah.
So, like, why do that and not just spend time and make something
That's
actually
actually
good in time, you know? Then we have, for our last movie to talk about, we have Luca, which I personally did not really like. That was pretty boring, bland story. Like,
This isn't a Disney Plus original.
yes, it is.
You're counting this, then you can count Encanto.
No, I can't because, look, I went through a list and it was on the list. So if you want to fight with someone, fight with Wikipedia. Okay. And then I do have one last thing I want to talk about. I found out while going through a list, they're making a Night at the Museum animated movie. Night at the Museum Kamen Rises Again. It features Owen Wilson, Ricky Gervais, Steve Coogan, and David Hornsby, who I have no clue who that is.
You know it's gonna be good when they don't have the main character.
Yeah, it says Nick Daly hesitates to become a museum night watchman and Kamen Ra returns to conquer the world. It sounds great, and it comes out in August. There's also no pictures available for it on IMDb, and apparently it's rumored to be a pilot to an animated TV spin-off of the Night at the Museum series. It sounds horrendous.
Can't wait to watch it.
So that's pretty much it. One thing
Yeah.
I will say, starting a new gaming channel with our friend Vibe Time, Tree Huggers,
Yeah.
and hopefully the videos on that will be out soon.
Yeah.
And I'm working on a big project for this channel. Gonna take a bit longer. So that's really all I have to say.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Bye.
See you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.
Adios.